I want to get to NBA awards, obviously, last week.
I got the finalists pulled up right here.
Yep, they announced 2 of them last week.
Yep. So Julius Randle won Most Improved, which was pretty much a lock. I was hoping Jeremy Grant would just –
Yeah, he was second odds.
But Julius Randle he played like 1,000 minutes, so he obviously had better and then Jordan Clarkson, who proves that all the Lakers that LeBron got rid of are actually good, and LeBron's a jerk.
Can that segue into the LeBron talk?
Yeah, let's segue into LeBron.
Let's do some LeBron talk, and then we'll get to some awards. So, LeBron James. So the Lakers played last night. They played the Suns. They were down 30. They scored 10 points in the second quarter. They were down 30 before the halfway point of the second quarter. And LeBron James just literally gave up. There was a play where I think he missed a shot, and he just walked to the corner. Not even his bench. He wasn't going to the bench because they were going to call a timeout. It was the other team's bench, and he just stood there. And usually when that happens, people don't give him too much crap or a player too much crap because it's a transition bucket.
Right.
But the Suns had 4 passes and then got
it was they swung it to the left corner and then dumped it down to the guy LeBron would have guarded, and then that guy dunked it. It was
Jay Crowder drained 2 threes in his face.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And how many times has he flopped this year? It's this is the most egregious flop I've ever seen.
Well, in the other Suns game, when he went down on one knee and then there was the fight, and then he got up and then went to where the fight was, so the cameras were on him. He got hurt so bad because he flopped. In midair, he got bumped by. He did get bumped by Chris Paul, but then midair he went ugh, and then he fell even harder. And I was just well, yeah, you did it to yourself, dude.
There's the other one where the elbow, and they put it in slow motion where it looked like he got hit in the elbow, and then they put it in slow motion and completely missed him.
That's happened a couple times to literally to LeBron. It's happened more than once.
Yeah, and then obviously the big story is that obviously he gave up during the game, whatever, but then he walked off the court. Walked off the court.
Yep.
With 5 minutes left in the game, just left the court. Which whatever. Some people say who cares, doesn't really mean anything, but. No one else walked off the court. It's not like, it's not like he was followed by the trainer, you know what I mean? He was he's nursing an injury or something. It's, he's literally just decided, I'm going to leave. I don't know.
He's got such a head about him. He's like, I'm LeBron. I can do this. Anybody else did this, there'd be a huge fight about it. But
and I don't even think it's that he knows he's LeBron. I just think he's a generally selfish person. I just don't think he's conceited. I think he's just selfish. He's just an idiot.
He's super giving to China.
Yeah.
Well,
hey man.
Yeah, they pay better. Yeah. It's crazy how he's 35 or 36 now, and he's seems to be getting more childish as his career goes on.
Right. I think that's the thing. He's he wasn't always like this. It wasn't always like this. When he was younger, he would kind of bully and he would kind of take some contact. But then it was when he went to Miami, he just found out the NBA started to take that turn where they were calling hand checking a foul and started to do things. And he just I think the thing that bothers me about LeBron is that some of these guys James Harden, Trae Young, they game the system, but they know they game the system.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden's gonna smirk at you when he gets that one of those stupid step back fouls where they just slap his hands, or he steps forward when he shoots, so he lands where their feet are, so they get called for the foul. He's gonna but he knows it. LeBron still acts like he's not doing that. But he acts like he's not embellishing things. Draymond Green. Everybody knows Draymond Green knows that Draymond Green flops. He knows it. Marcus Smart. Everyone knows that Marcus Smart flops, and Marcus Smart will tell you he flops. Mm-hmm. LeBron James is oh, I don't flop, or I give 110% every minute I'm on the floor. And it's dude, no, we have tape of you not doing that.
Right.
And
We
I
have
think
tape
that's the
of
thing
him
that-
saying he read a Malcolm X book, and he didn't actually read a Malcolm X book. That's
Yeah, he's been on the first 10 pages of The Godfather for like 15 years.
I saw a tweet.
I saw a
tweet the other day. It's like, why when we see LeBron reading,
it.
he's always on the first page,
Yeah.
like every time. But no, he literally I think I don't know what happened. Yeah, I think it did happen in Miami, but like when I don't know before that, I had no real problem with LeBron. I think I had to talk to my dad about this. It's like before he started to become, with the China stuff and like probably before Miami for the most part, I looked at LeBron James as a guy. It's like, man, this guy's pretty much like squeaky clean, stays out of the media for the most part, other than, when he has to. He's like Derek Jeter-esque in a point where it's like, man, like you got no dirt on this guy. Like he just seems like even if he has dirt, he's kept it away from everybody and there's no problems and it is what it is. And, he just goes about his business and is really, really amazing. Right. And that's kind of how I looked at LeBron James. Like, yeah, but then and I have no problem with athletes being outspoken about something, if that's what they want to do. Like they have that platform. That's awesome. But like LeBron's just like uninformed about things that he talks about. And that's my problem with it.
Yeah. He pretends he's so woke, but he's really so woke.
And he acts like he's the authority and he's the talking authority on all these different things. And it's like, dude, like inform yourself before you speak on issues or before you speak on certain things. Cause like, and NBA players have spoken out against LeBron James where it's like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Like he actually didn't do any kind of research and he should have just said that. He should have said, hey, I probably am not going to comment on this right now. Cause I wasn't expecting this question and, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to comment on it. And he just won't do that because I think he just kind of like alluded to what, kind of alluding to what Isaiah said. He just thinks I don't think he thinks he's better than everybody. Maybe there's some of that, but I think he just thinks that, he is the authority figure for all this, for everything in the NBA. And it's like,
he feels like he has to give an answer on just like everything.
He doesn't have to. He never had to. That's my thing. He could have literally just gone about his business and had the exact same career from a basketball standpoint as he had. And I would think so much higher of him. And I know a lot of people would think so much higher of him if he had just never, and I'm not saying never be outspoken about something. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, you have a platform as an athlete and you should use it if in given situations, but be informed. Like,
I was going to say, I think in general for people, I think you gain a greater respect for anybody if they say what you just said. Like, I don't know the answer to that. I haven't studied up on that issue, so I don't feel like I'm at liberty to comment on this. But he feels like he has to comment on this.
On every single thing. Everything.
Well, and I think, like, he tries to continue to put up this, like, facade of being a very relatable guy. Like, he always has the hashtag, like, a kid from Akron. It's like, dude, you're not just a kid from Akron. You are LeBron.
Not anymore, man.
Like, you don't, and, like, I know, like, stick to sports. We don't need to, like, talk about political things. But, like, when he, like, comments on, like, certain goings on with, like racial issues, it's like I get that the beginning of his life was tough. And I'm sure, like, he obviously has dealt with problems that I haven't. But when he, like, continues to say that, like, that's how he's still living his life, it's like, not like he just mentions, like, I still live in fear every day because of, like, police. And it's like,
no, you don't.
Like, I understand there's people in inner city Akron where you grew up who may have that in part of their lives. Like, they may have that reality, but you live in one of the most heavily armed gated communities in Beverly Hills. Like, you live in a $40 million house with, like, probably 7 security gates to even get to your driveway. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I understand that you've probably dealt with things in your past, and I understand that you've probably had a tough upbringing. Like, I don't know everything about LeBron, but like, it ended at some point. Like, once you got your millions and millions of dollars and you got paid $40 million a year,
and good for you,
where you can't act like that's still who you are.
You're no longer relatable, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with any athlete or any famous person. It's like, at some point, you got to look at them and say, hey, dude, you're not relatable. Like, you aren't just a kid from Akron. You aren't just, like, somebody that's having to live through, like, all these struggles on the streets. That's just not who you are anymore. And you should.
That's like, and then that goes to, like,
that's a good thing. You don't want to be that. Like, you want to have to deal with all those things.
Right, and that's like, I don't like the LeBron Jordan comparison because I don't think it makes sense anymore. because they're completely different players, completely different eras, completely different. You know, there's no point to make that comparison anymore. But like, I don't think Michael Jordan, to a point, I don't think probably ever did Michael Jordan ever try to be relatable. Like, no. Michael Jordan was just like, yeah, man, I made a lot of money and I don't care.
Yeah. Like, I gamble with tens of thousands of dollars and you couldn't.
I chain smoke cigars, rich Cuban cigars.
Yeah, and he talked about it. He's like, yeah, man, I like to play golf. Not many black kids in inner city communities can play golf anymore. I like to play golf. I'm not relatable anymore. Like, I'm not a relatable athlete figure anymore. Like, that's just not me.
Even Republicans buy shoes.
Yeah, like he didn't even attempt to be a relatable figure anymore, and that's just what he you know, and that's just what he.
The thing is, if LeBron James doesn't actually have a chauffeur driving him around, if he actually is driving him, let's say he does get pulled over, like, the cop is not going to give him a ticket. They're going to say, "Hey, can I get your autograph or take a picture with you?" Like, that doesn't happen to anybody.
Freaking James.
Yeah,
and I get there's that like camaraderie with his like where he grew up and like his original community and stuff.
And that's his roots, and he should always live with that. But
unless you're still living there, it's not your reality anymore. And like, you can say like, man, I fear for my friends or my like childhood friends who have to like be worried about cops, and that's like, obviously that's a whole different issue or topic. But like, you can say like, I feel for those who have this as a reality in their life. Like, I feel for people that have to go through it. I had to go through it at one point. But it's just not your life anymore. Like, it's and like I said, that's a good thing. Like, you should be happy that that's not your life.
And I think that is the thing that's the thing that rubs a lot of people the wrong way about LeBron, though, is that he does try to just be that relatable athlete. And it's like, you don't need to be a relatable athlete you don't even need to be relatable to talk about these things, dude. Like, you know, obviously in today's day and age, like, you're going to be asked about these things and you're probably going to be forced to talk about them. But like, you don't have to, you know, you could take the Michael Jordan stance if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. Like, he pretty much didn't talk about these things. You know, he just said, look, man, like, I enjoy being who I am and I am who I am and I'm making a lot of money and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, and
only relatable NBA player, Brian Scalabrine.
Yeah, to us.
That's the list. He's just a dude.
Yeah, no, Birdman. Birdman is my guy. I relate to Birdman.
What with the
Birdman?
neck
Birdman has some weird stuff going on with him too.
So do I.
Well, maybe we should talk about a bunch of things that LeBron James isn't going to win this year, and that's NBA awards.
Yes.
Yeah, he's not going to be on.
About time he's not even in a conversation about NBA awards.
So this brings up real quick though. This actually is a sort of a discussion, LeBron related though. Like, when's the last time he wasn't in a discussion for these? I mean, in all actuality,
I gotta think it's hurt all time, because
2 years ago,
the first year he was Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, 2 years ago he was hurt for a significant amount of time, and I don't think he got much play.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know if he's ever.
Yeah, let me look it up.
Which is, again, my problem. My point on LeBron James is I'm never going to bash his basketball game, like pure ability on the basketball court. Probably best top 2 or 3 ever. So.
Yeah. And the fact that he's still this good at age like 36, yeah, that's pretty good.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping he can milk it out to like 39 or 40, because then his kid can maybe join him.
I think he's going to try to play with his kid for sure.
Yeah, he might.